Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, returning for episode 48 in the series. So today I was inspired to talk a little bit about creating a sales environment in your practice. Why was I inspired to do this? I did my multiple daily stop into Starbucks. Got my Starbucks here. It's the official, by the way, it's the official coffee of the Dental Road Warrior. In case you're wondering where I get my coffee. But why is it? You know, what keeps us going back to Starbucks? It's an interesting branding model, and I want to kind of use that as a corollary to how it kind of translates into how you create a sales environment in your dental practice, because we don't think about that often. By the way, the number one lacking thing, the number one lacking system in any dental practice, and I may have said this in an earlier episode, is lack of an effective sales system. And I don't know how much I'll get into it on this episode, but I promise I'll talk more about having a sales system in your practice. Because like anything else, if you went to for instance, any kind of retail store and there was no sales system there, you wouldn't be too effective at making money. The reason why have challenges making money in our practice is because our sales system is very lacking in our dental practice. But it starts off by first and foremost creating a sales environment. So when you walk into a Starbucks, you know, they got to do a lot to justify charging like $5 for a cup of coffee. Think about that. If I went back in time and talked to some of you in the past and said, "You guess I'm from the future, and guess what? Where I come from, we're up to paying $5 for a cup of coffee." People would be like, "What? Was there a plague? What happened? I don't understand. What had occurred there?" Well, the opposite is really branding, and it's really creating a certain kind of elite sales environment, which justifies in the consumer's mind, I guess. Not that this coffee is ever going to be worth $5, right? We don't know that these beans were grown in any special fields. It could be grown in the same fields as the beans from Dunkin' Donuts. But again, it's all tied back to, again, how branding works with Starbucks. But it's interesting because what's it like when you go into a Starbucks, right? It's really a sales environment. Why? It's the ambiance, it's the couches, it's the tables, it's the Wi-Fi, it's the music. You know, everything's got a special name. It's not a coffee server, it's a barista. You know, it's not a large, it's a grande. All right, you know, you can have what temperature you wanted. I wanted 180 degrees. You know, with soy milk and whatever. You know, and this is the thing. You know, you can do all these customizations. Everything is, you know, high end, and you better get it quickly because you can mobile order it. It better be ready when you get in there because they're a quality and service model. So speed is important. You know, so that's how they get away with justifying and paying this amount of money. You know, we expect to walk into a Starbucks and not get a cheap coffee. It just doesn't happen. You know, when you go into a Dunkin' Donuts, it's a different experience. You expect to wait in a small little maze of barriers they have set up there and get whatever the machine push the button on gives you. And you know, the floor may smell like disinfectant when you walk in there from the mop that was just used a few minutes. You know, and they don't use your name and they don't know who you are, and that's it. You know, and you get what you get. So basically, you know, it's one of those things where you know, you just whatever happens, you know, and that's what you get, what you pay for. And that's why it's a couple dollars, $3-4 cheaper for a cup of coffee at a Dunkin' Donuts. All right, but again, this is all done by design. It's not done by accident. It's a brilliant model. Think about it for a second. What is Starbucks? It's a coffee shop that specializes in what? Right? It specializes in coffee. I mean, coffee shops have been around forever. But someone had the bright idea to say, "Hey, look, guess what? We're going to take coffee and we're going to put it on steroids, you know, and we're going to make it charge it. We're going to charge a fortune for it because of that, right?" So it works. The model works. It's an elite brand of coffee. Well, guess what? Dentistry is the same way. How do you differentiate? How do you create that same environment? You have to create a dental practice that really specializes in dentistry in a very special environment. Right? Anybody can walk in to any old dental office. The problem with the consumers today in dentistry is all patients think that all dentists are the same. It's amazing to me that patients think this way, where in every other field, people can understand there's a differentiation. There's good and bad medical doctors out there. There's good and bad contractor. There's good and bad teachers. Or there's good and bad, you know, whatever. When you in other places, but when it comes to dentistry, now you guys are all the same. You know what? If the prices get too high, or you do something I don't like, I'm out of here, and I'll find someone else because you can get the same dentistry everywhere. We've done a bad job branding ourselves and making people know that there is a difference. All right, and you want to create an environment so when people walk into it, and I've walked in many dental practices in my life. When I walk in the door, you know, when I see the environment the way it is, I go, "Whoa! People spend money here. You know, I'll be spending a lot of money here. My own dental practice I go to for myself." right? Should be by design, not by accident. You create an environment when you walk in there that blows people away by just the look and feel of everything. That's part of it. What do people hear on the phone when they call on your office? Do they get a professional, courteous person with great communication skills, who's interested in them, who's upbeat and happy that they called? Don't discount that. How many times I call a dental practice and I get an annoyed, bothered person that I bother them on the phone? It can't happen. This is a service industry, and services. If you want to sell top notch and you want to have top prices and get paid for what you do, it's got to match up. And people equate poor service with bad quality, then they don't want to pay for it. So if you want to sell bigger cases, you're not going to sell like $50,000 roundhouses in a broken down, rundown, not modern looking practice. That's not state of the art. Right? So and that means in your service and your personnel. Very important to create an environment like that. So like I said, the sales process starts from the first phone call. That's also part of it. When they arrive, what does the place look like? Have someone come in and give a critical outside look, because it's easy to get blinders and get blind spots to our practice, from going into it every day. We don't see certain things. When I walk in, everything jumps out at me in a practice. How neat is it? How organized is it? Is the wall covered with all kinds of eye candy, or is it neat and clean? Is it a promotional environment when I'm learning about dentistry when there, or they're all magazines strewn all over the place? Is it not quite clean? The bathrooms. Geez. I always tell you, if you walk into a restaurant and if the bathroom's a disaster, that's kind of what the kitchen's like, right? It's kind of the same mentality when you walk into a dental practice and the bathrooms are horrific. People say, "Wow, wait a minute, that's the way they keep their bathroom clean? How are they going to keep my mouth clean?" All right? Believe me, they might not be consciously saying that, but subconsciously, the patients are making buying decisions every second they're in your practice. By how they interact with people, how you speak with them, how much attention you give them, their care, all right, the interest in them. They're making buying decisions because we are selling ourselves or not all the time. You have to realize that. So, in creating an environment that people are aware of this, and guess what, guys? We're here today and we're here to sell. Because if we don't sell dentistry, people can't get it, then they can't get well, and then we can't fulfill our purpose of helping other people, and getting them great dentistry and getting them healthy again. This is important. Right? Especially when they have so many choices in this day and age. If they don't get the big idea when they're in your practice, and we don't blow them away with that that amazing sales experience, a lot like a Starbucks, they're not going to keep coming. They're not going to keep paying the money. They're just not going to. So it's very important to create that kind of environment when they walk in. So all these different things play a role. Right? Modern, new, neat. How does the paperwork look that you're giving to them? And the stuff that you hand out to them, they look at for the first time. Who's taking the time to sit with them, and how much the interest level they give with them. The time and attention when they're in the practice. So if you consult rooms, if you want to close a case and have people, you have to teach them, put them in a comfortable environment to switch hats from patient to buyer. A lot of times we try to present these thousands of dollar treatment plans in a chair when they're laid back and vulnerable. They're in patient mode. They're not in buyer mode at that point. It's a very threatening situation. We don't bring the financial decision maker in to help them, or to make a financial decision, because a lot of times there is more than one financial decision maker going on, and it's not just a patient in the office, it's a spouse or significant other. Very important to consider this. So having people come back for consults and having a consult room where they can sit down and make informed decisions about their healthcare in a comfortable, non-threatening environment. All right, and creating an ability for them to get the dentistry easily, having multiple financial options to give them for payment to make it easier on them. If they want to make payments or over time, with you not becoming the bank, very important. All right, so all these factors go into creating a sales environment, and you should have a team that understands that when they go in there, their main goal throughout the course of a day, yes, is to help people get great dentistry and get great care when they're there, but it's to sell. And selling is not a dirty word. It doesn't mean assist. It doesn't mean rip off, screw over, take advantage of. It means assisting, aiding, and supporting someone getting something they really need to get. And we talk this up every day. So we want people there talking about dentistry, talking about all the different things that it does provide, because people are not aware. We know. We get it. We know all the different things that dentistry can do for people, but patients do not. And we take it for granted that they understand it and recognize this, like we do, and they don't. So everybody talking about dentistry all the time and all the great things that it does and all your successes, and that's another big thing. Having a wall of fame, having success stories handy, letting people see your work, and hear and read your rave reviews. Reviews are also great. Again, helps to create a sales environment, because a lot of people, before they walk into your office these days, they're going to research you and say, hey, do I want to go in here and entrust my health and my money to this person? And they're already making buying decisions ahead of time based on what other people say about you, which again, what other people say about you, much more powerful than you say about yourself. All right. So the theme today was, again, creating that kind of environment that's conducive to people spending money there in your practice, creating that sales environment. All right. So this is maybe this will be a series of different things when it comes to sales, but I hope this initially was helpful to you, give you some food for thought. All right. Hope you're enjoying these episodes. As I said, always, please share them. It always helps when you do share them. Thanks for watching.